I'm going to ask you 4 questions, Caleb, that I'm going to go ahead and tell you will not know the answer to, and you won't even know the answer in 6 weeks when spring practice is done. How about that? Because the coaches are going to keep it absolutely quiet. All right? So I'm going to ask you these questions, and we are going to theorize.
So wait, we're saying that spring practice isn't that revealing?
A little bit. So, all right, the quarterback first down. The quarterback snaps will be split evenly between Joe Milton and Nico Iamaleava. Evenly, 50-50.
Yes, because I take Josh Heupel at his word that there's open competition. Even if he's going to give every reason to give Joe Milton the job, I think he's going to split it evenly, because if he doesn't and that gets out, then it gets out that he lied when he said there was open competition.
But you got to get Joe Milton ready.
It's spring practice.
Spring practice is huge for quarterbacks, so is the summer. And Dennis Scott says that Nico is absolutely stumbling over his own size 15 shoes right now.
Oh Lord. I still think he splits. I think he starts splitting. I'll put it this way. I think he splits the first week.
Okay. 60-40 Joe, according to John. Some of the best food vendors outside the gates of Camden Yard. That is absolutely true. And he saw Cal Ripken's last game there. That's awesome.
Perfect attendance record.
And that's what his wife wanted for her birthday. My wife didn't know what was going on. I said, look at that center fielder. And I think she was talking about the guy behind home plate. She knows nothing about sports. Okay. So I think that they're going to be split 50-50. You know where I stand on Nico. So there's no need for me getting beat up on the message board. I'll just move along. The standout player on offense will be blank.
Offense.
And we'll get to defense. Hit that like button. Hit the thumbs up button. We appreciate it. Make sure you're subscribed.
I'm going to go squirrel white. I'm going to go squirrel white for offense.
You stole mine.
Oh, man. Sorry. I apologize.
Okay. Well, I will actually – I was going to go squirrel white, but so I'm going to take that one back from you. If you Dylan Sampson, Smoky Mountain Red, feeding me answers. Dylan Sampson is another one. If Dylan Sampson ends up being the guy, Matt says Dante Thornton as well.
Is Dante Thornton going to be there for the spring? I wasn't sure.
We're still waiting on clarification for that for sure. But
yeah, I would say Thornton if he was there.
You would say Thornton?
Yes, because I think Dante Thornton is going to be the most record-setting receiver the world of college football has ever seen next year.
That's a little strong. Ever seen?
I'm telling you, a 6'5" slot player in Josh Heupel's offense. This is insane. The only thing I'm hoping for, just as a fan, I want him to stay another year after this year, because I want to see Nico Iamaleava throwing to Dante Thornton. This is like the two designs for Josh Heupel's offense in a lab, throwing to each other or connecting with each other.
Gene says Brew McCoy. Gene, I'm going to disagree with one little reason. Matt loves what you're saying about Dante, by the way. But I'm going to disagree, Gene, for one reason. I think Brew McCoy is almost a proven commodity. And my thinking is don't get him out there and get him hurt. Who can forget the Peerless Price injury in 1998 in spring practice where they rolled up on his ankle and he ended up being able to play, but it certainly didn't look like it. Ramel Keaton is another one, boss time, that I'm going to go the other way. I think he's a proven commodity. I don't believe that you have to push those guys in spring. Remember, spring's going to be about limiting some snaps. This is another team. This is 2 full years into Josh Heupel's tenure, Caleb. So I do believe that you're going to have some guys that don't get as much work as maybe they even personally would want, because you got to make sure they're healthy. You're going to start to see that out of this program before I flip it to defense.
Yeah, but you covered spring ball enough, and does that always work? You know, one that stood out for me, I remember 2005. I'm going to give you one. You covered the 2005 team, and I remember Cedric Houston had just left for the NFL, and Fulmer's philosophy was to really limit Gerald Riggs in spring ball because they weren't that deep at running back. And then Riggs suffered a season-ending injury anyway.
Well, I mean, that's true, but you're usually going to see a running back pop up out of nowhere because they don't want to get a guy hit a lot. Third down defensive standout in spring practice will be
Defensive standout in spring practice is going to be.
If you steal mine again, then I'm just going to be so frustrated with you because I have mine. I'm going first.
Fine, go ahead and get this.
Amari Thomas.
See, that's the one I think you would limit, though.
Well, you still limit, but he's still going to have a standout. The skill position guys can't have the showings that you would consider them a standout guy, but the coaches could still come out and say that Omari Thomas guy is really getting it done. So based off limited snaps, I think you can do more as a defensive tackle, or you can do more as an offensive lineman to stand out, even though you may play 25% of the snaps. A skill position player, really, to have an impact and get exciting, you got to go out there. Rebecca says she's all about Caleb's optimism on Dante. So exciting. It is. Keenan Paley is another one on defense.
That's what I'm going with, though. That's what I was going to go with, Keenan Paley.
Guy?
Because he's going to replace Jeremy Banks. And so he's going to be almost a quarterback of the defense this year.
Or he'll start a fight with the quarterback of the offense. He's replacing Jeremy Banks. Maybe he'll do that.
Yeah. No, that is
do that nowadays. You don't show up for practice in South Carolina week, and then you start a fight with the quarterback.
Until this past weekend, Jeremy Banks was the worst story of an athlete that just really annoyed me this past year the most, given what he did. John Morant has taken that title away, but Jeremy Banks was the number one most annoying athlete who acted stupid of the past year until John Morant.
Travis said it'll be a DB like rain after a drought. That's the second rain reference. I referenced Noah. Gene said he misunderstood. You're talking spring. The Facebook feed is cutting in and out. I'm sorry about that. I don't know why that is, but please get on YouTube. We'd greatly appreciate that. Joe says
there'll be no DB. Nobody's going to be good back there. Whole unit's going to be trash.
They've got to get better at some point. I don't care if they throw you, me, and Ja Rule out there at some point. It's got to get better.
They lost the Jonathan Hefney of the group last year, Trey Flowers, who covered up for – they were worse than they looked. Trey Flowers covered up for some of their shortcomings last year. And I think sacrificed his own NFL career in the process. He's not there anymore.
Will we be talking about a true freshman having an impact? The message board suggests Jason Jenkins. Are we at that point?
I mean, I think it's possible that a true freshman could have an impact. I mean, I think mostly in the secondary. I think Tennessee. I mean, Jason Jenkins. He's a sophomore this year, right? I think he was in last year's recruiting class.
Yes, he's a sophomore this year. He was a freshman. He did play against Ball State, if I recall correctly.
Yeah, I'm on like one of those like kind of edge rusher lineman types, like making an impact. I don't know, Jason Jenkins, James Pierce, Joshua Josephs. I think one of those three could like turn into the new Byron Young.
I like Pierce's fluidity a lot. I could be talked out of Omari Thomas for Pierce. I like his hips, the way he moves. There's a lot of I like about him. I think he's a very good player, is going to be a very good player, has more talent than a lot of people might realize at this point. So I think Pierce has incredible upside. So fourth down, the last of 4 downs, brought to you by friends at Campbell, Cunningham, Taylor, and Hahn. Coming full circle. Josh Heupel names a starter after spring practice.
Have you covered Josh Heupel in these interviews?
No. Quarterback.
Josh Heupel's not naming a starter until like Friday before the game.
You don't think does he say anybody has an edge?
No. This is Josh Heupel. I'm sorry. Like, this is the one thing I knocked him for. It's like, I'm not going to get anything out of him with this. Nothing. I don't believe in gamesmanship like this. I don't know if you do, but like, I think Josh Heupel does believe in it and he employs it.
Oh, I totally believe he does. I was talking to somebody at the facility and I mentioned, you guys are having the coaches clinic now, because that kind of fell off quite a bit. The high school coaches that would show up, it fell off because Tennessee was terrible. And now people want to see this Josh Heupel offense in person, on the field, the wide splits, the tempo, and all that stuff. And the person told me they ain't going to see anything. He said for the time that the high school coaches are in there, they're not going to show them anything. And that's just Josh's or Coach Hype style is what they said.
Yeah. Which is why I know you call him Spurrier 2.0. That's why he's the reverse of Spurrier. Spurrier was the most honest coach of all time and always told you what he felt about his team and what he was doing.
He did. He did. And for that, I appreciated it. However, he was one thing that Josh Heupel will never be, I don't believe, and that is not that Josh Heupel's not quick-witted, but quick-witted at the mic, at the podium. I think Spurrier enjoyed that. I don't believe that Josh Heupel enjoys that at all. I don't think he likes taking shots. I don't think that's ever going to happen.
Spurrier would have straight up told us what Jeremy Banks did last year in the press conference.
He went and had a punch quarterback. That's what he did. And we can't tolerate that. He also missed a practice on Monday. And so one of two reasons or both, he is going to be suspended.